Welcome back to the Classic Masterworks channel, where today, we will be looking at some of the very best examples of classical Roman architecture.
If you are returning to the Classic Masterworks channel, welcome back. If you are new, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you will be made aware of our latest content. And now, on with the story.
Greek and Roman styles are often considered one body of classical architecture. Architecture flourished in the Roman Republic and even more so under the Empire. Roman architecture assumed Greek foundations and spread widely across the empire as one of the most recognizable features of Rome's power. Unlike their predecessors, the Romans placed far more emphasis on the practicality of their architectural designs. This was a major departure from contemporary practices which had always placed the focus on a structure's exterior design and aesthetic appeal. The Greeks, Persians, and Egyptians before them created many monumental pieces of architecture, but their magnificence was limited to the exteriors of their structures. With the innovative discoveries of concrete, arches, and other engineering marvels during the ancient Roman era, builders could build majestic structures with interiors that were previously deemed impractical or impossible. Join us as we explore 10 of the best examples of Roman architecture that are still standing today. Number 10. The Arch of Septimius Severus. The monumental Arch of Septimius Severus was constructed in the year 203 AD in recognition of the unprecedented Roman victories over the Parthians in the dying years of the 2nd century. Under Septimius Severus' rule, Rome was able to successfully suppress a raging civil war among its neighboring states. Severus then immediately declared war on the Parthian Empire and brought them to his knees. In recognition of his achievements, the Roman Senate had one of the most beautifully decorated triumphal arches erected on his return to Rome. The arch was raised on a travertine marble base originally approached by steps from the forum's ancient level. The central archway, spanned by a richly coffered semicircular vault, has lateral openings to each side archway, a feature copied in many early modern triumphal arches. The arch is about 23 meters high and 25 meters wide. Originally, it had a bronze-gilded inscription as homage to Septimius and his two sons Caracalla and Geta for having restored and expanded the Roman Republic, as well as statues of the emperor and sons in a four-horse chariot, quadriga, accompanied by soldiers on top. It was a unique triumphal monument by all standards in contemporary Rome. Although the master architect behind the arch is unknown, even today, despite some heavy damage, it stands as a lasting reminder of the once flamboyant Roman Empire. Number 9. Maison Carrée. Maison Carrée is the only temple constructed in the time of ancient Rome that is completely preserved to this day. This marvel of Roman engineering was built around 16 BCE in the city of Nims in France. Maison Carrée is an architectural gem that stands 15 meters tall and runs along a length of 26 meters. The Maison Carrée is a classic example of Vitruvian architecture as it is nearly an exact replica of a Tuscan-style Roman temple described in the writings of the famous architect Vitruvius. The facade contains a deep portico or pronaos that is almost a third of the building's length and is richly decorated in terms of its columns and capitals. This deep porch emphasizes the temple front and distinguishes the layout from ancient Greek temples. It was built by Roman general Marcus Vipanius Agrippa in memory of his two sons who died young. With the imminent fall of the Roman Empire on the horizon, Maison Carrée was given a fresh lease of life when it was turned into a Christian church in the 4th century. This decision spared this majestic temple from the neglect and destruction faced by many other Roman monuments and landmarks. Since then, it has been used for various purposes such as a town hall, stable, and storehouse. At present, it is a museum. Number 8. Aqueduct of Segovia. Located on the Iberian Peninsula, the Aqueduct of Segovia still retains its structural integrity to this day, making it one of the best preserved pieces of architecture from ancient Rome. It was built somewhere around the year 50 AD to facilitate the flow of drinking water from the river Frio to the city of Segovia. On its completion, It was an unprecedented 16-kilometer-long structure built using around 24,000 giant blocks of granite. Just like the Ponte Guard, Roman engineers built the entire structure without any mortar. With 165 arches, all of which are over 9 meters in height, this architectural phenomenon has been a symbol of Segovia for centuries. The aqueduct had to go through an extended period of reconstruction during the 15th and 16th centuries after years of use and structural neglect. By the 1970s and 1990s, some urgent and necessary conservation action was undertaken to preserve the monument and its glory. Number 7. The Library of Celesus. Once home to over 12,000 scrolls, the Library of Celesus was initially a tomb and monument. The Library of Celesus was the third largest library in the Roman world behind only Alexandria and Pergamum. Commissioned in the 110s AD by a consul, Gaius Julius Aquila, as a funerary monument for his father, former proconsul of Asia Tiberius Julius Celsus Ptolemeus, and completed during the reign of Hadrian, the library is considered an architectural marvel, and is one of the only remaining examples of a library from the Roman Empire. Celesus is buried in a crypt beneath the library in a decorated marble sarcophagus. Located in what is now part of Turkey, the impressive library facade is decorated with relief carvings and statuary with 2 levels of arches and columns. The outward appearance of the Library of Celesus seems to defy gravity, perched atop a 9-step-high and 21-meter-long podium. This architectural marvel is also an optical illusion. The podium has a gradual convex curve so that the side columns and capitals were built slightly smaller than those in the center. This technique, which the Greeks first employed at their own architectural marvels, like the Parthenon, helps the building to look straight when viewed at a distance. Number 6. Diocletian's Palace. Diocletian, the only Roman emperor who ever voluntarily retired, built his vacation home in opulent style in the modern city of Split, Croatia. The eclectic architecture of the palace incorporated stylistic flourishes from nearly every era and province of Roman rule. Stretching 215 meters long, the 2.5-meter-high walls ensured the emperor could enjoy his retirement in peace and quiet while offering breathtaking views of the Adriatic Sea. While it is referred to as a palace because of its intended use as the retirement residence of Diocletian, the term can be misleading as the structure is massive and more resembles a large fortress. About half of it was for Diocletian's personal use, and the rest housed the military garrison. Game of Thrones fans will recognize the palace, as many scenes of the series were filmed there. The complex was built on a peninsula 6 kilometers southwest from Salona, the former capital of Dalmatia, one of the largest cities of the late Empire with 60,000 people and the birthplace of Diocletian. The terrain around Salona slopes gently seaward and is typical karst, consisting of low limestone ridges running east to west with marl in the clefts between them. Today the remains of the palace are part of the historic core of Split, which in 1979 was listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Number 5. Ponte Guard. Part bridge, part aqueduct, part monument to Rome's domination over the landscape, the 50 kilometers of this water delivery system is an engineering marvel. It crosses the river Gardon near the town of Ponte Guard in southern France. The Ponte Guard is the tallest of all Roman aqueduct bridges, as well as one of the best preserved. Each day the aqueduct carried 41 million liters of water to the citizens of Nemours, now the French city of Nims, thanks to the downward pull of a 1 in 3,000 gradient. At 3 stories tall, this marvel was fit together without mortar from precisely cut stone blocks, and the precision of the build resulted in an arched bridge reaching 335 meters in height. The bridge remained in operation until the 18th century. Ponte Guard was added to UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites in 1985 because of its exceptional preservation, historical importance, and architectural ingenuity. Number 4. The Temples of Baalbek. The Lebanese city of Baalbek is home to not one but 3 ancient wonders of Rome. First constructed in the 1st century BCE, Roman temples to Bacchus, Venus, and Jupiter continue to dominate the surrounding landscape. The Temple of Jupiter, King of the Gods, is befittingly the largest. Once the temple site hosted 54 columns of carved granite reaching over 20 meters into the sky, but centuries of looting, war, and earthquakes have diminished the temples. The monument to Bacchus is one of the best preserved and grandest Roman temple ruins. Its age is unknown, but its fine ornamentation can be dated to the 2nd century. The temple complex is considered an outstanding archaeological and artistic site of Imperial Roman architecture and was inscribed as an UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984. Number 3. Amphitheater at Nims. When the famous amphitheater was built in the city of Nims, the city was known by the name of Nemausus. From around the year 20 BCE, Augustus started to populate the city and give it a structure more akin to a typical Roman state. It had a number of splendid buildings, a surrounding wall, more than 200 hectares of land, and a majestic theatre at its heart. Also known as the Arena of Nims, this astoundingly large theatre had a seating capacity of around 24,000, effectively making it one of the biggest in Gaul. It was so large that during the Middle Ages, a small fortified palace was built within it. Later, somewhere around 1863, the arena was repurposed into a huge bullring. It is still used to host annual bullfights to this day. Number 2. The Pantheon. The Pantheon is arguably the most well-preserved architectural marvel from the ancient Roman era. Unlike many other contemporary Roman temples that were almost always dedicated to particular Roman deities or emperors, the Pantheon was a temple for all the Roman gods. The Latin inscription atop the Pantheon reads Marcus Agrippa, the son of Lucius, 3 times consul, built this, leaving little doubt as to who is responsible for this architectural marvel. Construction of this temple was completed in the year 125 AD during the reign of Hadrian. Home to the largest unsupported concrete dome in the world, the Pantheon's circular portico and rotunda are remarkably well preserved, a testament to the skill and craftsmanship of its Roman engineers. The fact that this astounding piece of engineering still stands to this day, surviving 2,000 years' worth of corrosion and natural disasters, speaks volumes for its build quality. What do you think of this list so far? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Now let's have a look at our number 1 entry. The Colosseum in Rome. We are sure this entry has not surprised anyone. The Colosseum in Rome is the most iconic of all Roman buildings. The Emperor Vespasian began construction of what was originally known as the Flavian Amphitheater in the year 70 AD, but it was his son, Titus, who completed building the 80,000-seat arena. Vespasian originally ordered the Colosseum be built on the spot of the previous, and very controversial, Emperor Nero's palace, and the gesture won over the people who flocked to the 100-day opening ceremonies complete with chariot racing, 2,000 gladiators, and over 5,000 exotic animals in the arena ring. The name Colosseum is believed to be derived from a colossal statue of Nero on the model of the Colossus of Rhodes. The giant bronze sculpture of Nero as a solar deity was moved to its position beside the amphitheater by the Emperor Hadrian. The word Colosseum is a neuter Latin noun formed from the adjective colosseus, meaning gigantic or Colossian. By the year 1000 the Latin name Colosseum had been coined to refer to the amphitheater from the nearby Colossus Solis. With an area of 190 by 160 meters, the freestanding stone and concrete structure reaches 3 stories high, with each level consisting of different styles of column-supported arches. The Colosseum is built mainly of travertine limestone, tuff, volcanic rock, and brick-faced concrete. The lower level has simple Doric columns, the middle level are Ionic, and the top level features ornate Corinthian columns. Below the rounded walls are 2 sublayers, where the animals, prisoners, and stage props were kept. The Colosseum was so large and lavish that it was even flooded to recreate famous naval battles for the crowds. The spectacles that took place in the Colosseum probably deserve a list of their own. We hope you have enjoyed this list of the top 10 works of Roman architecture. Please join us again as we continue to discover and be amazed by the classical world.